The rawest deal in this film is the one doled out to Mona Stevens. She doesn't even get a final close-up, since it would ruin the somber effect Andre de Toth was going for. Instead of a melodramatic Hollywood finish, de Toth undercuts everything. Johnny and Mona miss each other by seconds. He sees her, but he can't call out. It totally defies the usual formulaic ending. We're denied a final moment between the star-crossed lovers who'll never see each other again, and all that schmaltzy jazz, blah, blah, blah. What difference would it have made? Stuck between Smiley, Mac, and Forbes, Mona gets screwed no matter how you cut the deck. She is the true noir character in this film. Now, Pitfall could be remade today from her point of view. Deal me in for that. And by the way, those final scenes are precisely why you made a film independently in 1948. So no studio boss could force a bogus, upbeat ending on a picture that addressed adult issues in a mature manner. Now, she was only a few years into her career at this point, but Lisbeth Scott was a polarizing figure in the business. She was often ridiculed as nothing more than the personal project of producer Hal Wallis. Burt Lancaster and Barbara Stanwyck made no bones about not wanting to work with her due to her limitations as an actress. But Andre de Toth specifically wanted her for this role, explaining, "I could have made a different picture with a prettier girl than Lisbeth Scott and told the story of that girl and her problems. But that wasn't my movie. That would make it phony if you cast it with Marilyn Monroe or some type like that. I needed somebody real." Well, only in Hollywood would somebody think Lisbeth Scott wasn't a glamour girl. But de Toth's comments show how determined he was not to go the expected route. And he got an effective performance from Scott, her best, in my opinion. Some directors, like John Cromwell, simply gave up on her and left her behaving on camera like a talking mannequin. But de Toth was exceptional at finding where the performer and character intersected, and then drawing out something genuine.
What happens to men like you, Johnny? If I had a nice home like you did, I wouldn't take a chance with it for anything in the world.
I'll do anything I can.
Will you really?
What he got from Scott, I feel, was her underlying resentment at having no control over her life. After all, she got her start in Hollywood as Hal Wallis's personal property. And for years, everyone believed she was his mistress, or as they said back then, his protege. Young actresses didn't have much independence in those days, and Scott had even less than most. Her career truly was a case of men constantly telling her what was good for her and building her persona as competition for Lauren Bacall, Veronica Lake, and any other husky-voiced, sultry blonde. They even branded her the Threat, to boost her allure as a femme fatale. But de Toth, who was one of the great contrarians in Hollywood, with the patchwork career of the freelancer to prove it, tried in this film to scratch away the actress's polished surface and get to the real woman beneath. Now that would be Emma Matzo from Scranton, Pennsylvania, who had a thick mid-Atlantic accent it took years of elocution lessons to overcome. Sort of. She had a distinctive but unclassifiable way of pronouncing things. Essentially, Liz Scott had her own dialect. Hollywood via Scranton by way of Broadway. It's amazing Andre de Toth could see the real person beneath the carefully calculated facade. Now, there's a theory that Lisbeth Scott was the basis of the Eve Harrington character in All About Eve, that Joe Mankiewicz based his famous 1950 film on stories about Scott, who was still a teenager when she served as Tallulah Bankhead's understudy in the 1942 Broadway production of Thornton Wilder's The Skin of Our Teeth. Quite a rivalry developed between the two women. Scott was aggressive about trying to prove herself, while the imperious Bankhead declared, "I don't have understudies. If I don't go on, the show doesn't go on," which is precisely what happened. During the run of the show, Scott never once substituted for Bankhead on stage. Now, I've said it in print, so I may as well say it again now. No one will ever mistake Lisbeth Scott for a good actress, but she could be used effectively, and to me, Andre de Toth did that as well, if not better, than any director. and Scott appreciated it. She said for the record that Mona Stevens was her favorite role out of all the films she made. Now, I feel bad because I've said nothing of Scott's co-star in this film, Jane Wyatt. But I'll have time for that next week because Miss Wyatt will be back, only she'll be a dyed-in-the-wool femme fatale, the antithesis of the part she played in Pitfall. Be here when Noir Alley presents the TCM premiere of The Man Who Cheated Himself, newly restored by the Film Noir Foundation. Now, till then, send those cards and letters via Facebook and Twitter, and stay away from any guys named Mac or Smiley.